So, I guess I have a confession to make. I actually hate Pokémon. I don't get why everyone is so obsessed with it. They're literally just weird drawings. I mean, one is literally a trash bag named Trubbish. Seriously, what nerd would waste their life savings on children's games, literal cardboard, and stuffed toys? Jokes aside, if you couldn't tell, which you may not have, as I am very discreet about it, and may have fooled you all, but I am in fact a massive nerd.
This kid looks a lot like you.
You think so? He looks pathetic.
And I have recently decided to accept my newfound and mildly concerning obsession with Pokémon. But don't get me wrong, I have been a long-time lover of everything Pokémon. I played many of the games on my first ever technology device given to me as a child, the original DS. In pink, of course, which I still have here, despite having not used it in well over 10 years. For the most part due to my older brother having destroyed it in a fit of rage, as I'm sure most older brothers do. So why have I kept it, you may be asking? Well, because I'm a hoarder and I place meaning on inanimate objects. Just ask all my friends. They all have names and are very precious to me. I definitely don't have favorites. Moving on from that, I know what you're all thinking. The DS was your first ever big gift. I know, I'm not very old. Or young. But I do feel my bones crack every time I get out of bed in the morning. Alas, it's a hard age gap to be in. Too old to be considered cool, but the 90s kids won't let me join their clubhouse. Please love me. Now, I was around during the Game Boy, but my family was broke, so it's not my fault I missed out. Blame them, okay? A few years later, I did get a 3DS, where I played some more Pokemon games. My favourite Pokemon game was Pokemon Black and White. I had the white version, although I do remember very little about it. I also collected Pokemon cards in primary school, like many others did, although mine were all given to me, as my parents, broke again, so rude, refused to buy me any as they weren't of any value. Look at them now, Mum. Do you regret telling me I was a silly little kid now? Until one day, I was Chinese burned for playing kiss tag of all things. I didn't even kiss anyone, for your information. It was uncalled for.
My schoolmates were so envious they beat me nearly every day.
I did find out many years later though that he did get smacked over the head by his mother for this. So a win is a win. And that mother has now become my idol for true feminism. What a queen. But the trauma of it all made me swear off men. For a while at least. But deep down, I may never recover. I was lucky to have survived. Anyway, I don't know if any of these old cards are worth anything or even real. I did throw a handful out a while ago that someone told me were fake, but they're all pretty damaged, so I highly doubt anyone will want them in this condition for more than a few dollars. So not quite the investment I thought they would have been. After seeing all these people go through old collections and finding cards worth thousands, I really did get my hopes up. But I'll convince myself it's a cool little thing to have, even if they all look like they went through my washing machine a few too many times. And to make me feel better about the fact that I in fact don't have a time machine and can't go back and fix all my mistakes in life, I'm going to show you some of my old cards. Please leave a nice comment telling me how wonderful they are, and even if they're fake, don't tell me. I don't need more disappointment. I am a middle child. I've lived a whole life of that already. Thank you for your condolences. Thank you everyone for telling me how amazing my old cards are. I can't wait to read the comments and cry tears of joy as my forehead gets bigger than it already is, knowing you're all jealous of my mint condition, super rare and super expensive cards you'll never be able to afford. This was my first ever card given to me, and is how I realized the potential of the puppy dog eye technique. For a how-to, I will charge you $200 for a badly written book, most likely written in crayon. You are so welcome. I truly am doing the Lord's work. Once I learned the potential of this technique, I would point and tell the boys that I liked these particular cards, and if they had more than one, they would more often than not give it to me. Now that I think about it, pyramid schemes could truly be my calling in life. How have I not thought about this before? As I got older, I started playing the new releases of games for Pokémon and collecting some merch here and there too. My favourite of which being the sleeping Bulbasaur. I mean, just look how cute he is. My favourite game of the newer generations has to have been Sword and Shield. I did enjoy all the other games, but there was something that felt so new and refreshing about Sword and Shield when it released. In saying that, I found the DLCs extremely boring and couldn't get myself past the first hour of each of them. I am currently looking forward to the new game that I believe releases later this year. I don't quite know how I feel about it based on the first few trailers we've seen, but I am keeping my hopes up. In saying that, even if it's horrendous, I'm still probably going to buy it. Nintendo just has this grip on my wallet I don't think I'll ever be able to understand. Honestly, I don't think you'll ever see me boycott anything. I'm just too oblivious and easily swayed, so apologies in advance. And with that massive backstory of a rant, that brings us to now, where, as many people are, I've started my new obsession with recollecting Pokemon cards to find some escapism in this impending doom the world's currently facing. And luckily for me, I do have some fun little mental issues that does make my collecting get just a bit out of hand. Nothing like some obsession issues, am I right? To prove just how out of control I've been, all of the Pokemon stuff you saw at the start, minus a few toys, has been about 2 months worth of collecting. Help me. Do I start a GoFundMe? This is a great time to subscribe, so that maybe one day I can turn this habit into a financial tax write-off at the very least. Yes, I may have bad financial habits and maybe a recovering shopaholic, but at least I'm not in denial anymore, so it can't be that bad, right? Anyway, I suppose the point of this video was to share my old and new love of the Pokemon games, franchise, and collectibles, and see if any of you would be interested in watching ongoing Pokemon content, like unboxings, card openings, plushie reviews, even my collection, or going to card shows. I am considering filming or potentially streaming the newest game when it releases if enough people are interested too. I mean, I'm probably just going to do it anyway, who am I kidding? I just want to see if any of you would be interested in watching that sort of content or enjoy my sense of humor and style. I don't know if I can be a bit overwhelming, or maybe you enjoy watching me slowly go into a mental health crisis. I mean, whatever suits you. I'm here to provide. If you're over how many people are jumping on the Pokemon trend to make a quick buck, trust me, I am too. I completely understand that it feels like there's an overinflation of Pokemon content, especially with the recent releases being out of control. But I promise I'm not a scalper or in this to try and make a quick buck. I am a true lover and collector, if you couldn't tell based on how much money I've blown into this.
I'm not collecting them to sell. I'm collecting them because they're simple and beautiful and because they make me happy.
But I just wanted to share my passion, and I love rambling, if you couldn't tell. And honestly, I've always wanted to feel a part of this community. I've just never really known how to get started, or I've been too anxious at the idea of failing or being made fun of. And I suppose I'm also really excited that Pokemon collecting isn't seen as lame anymore, or at least that there's enough lame people to hide amongst that it doesn't feel as intimidating. This is my second video now, and it honestly still feels super scary to commit to all of this. So if you've watched this point and enjoyed, maybe consider subscribing, leaving a like, or maybe even a little comment on what you'd like to see in the future or some suggestions going forward. I'm completely open to advice while I start navigating this little journey, finding what content I enjoy filming, and creating a fun, quirky, and loving community. And I would love to do that with all of you. Thank you for watching to this point. Bye!